drill here. Today with us once again we have Mr. Joseph Guro. Mr. Joseph's been training for me for about 3 years now, and he's going to be donating his body to data science. Okay guys, today on this segment we're going to be covering single knife training against a double knife attacker. Now, chances of you getting attacked, a guy with 2 knives, is it's probably never going to happen. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't train it. And those attributes that we learn from training this way can correlate into any kind of attack on the street. Some people claim that you'll never have a knife-to-knife duel. I tend to disagree on that. Now, I will agree that a fight rarely starts out that way. You're never going to see 2 men just start blade to blade. But if a weapon is on you, I do feel that you may get the time to go to your own blade, which I recommend that you carry a knife. I carry 3 usually. I recommend that you carry it and that you work on the acquisition of that weapon. But just because we're training a knife doesn't mean that it has to be a blade. This can be anything we find: a bottle, something that we picked up off the ground to defend ourselves with, a hammer, a wrench, anything can correlate to the training that we do in the classroom with the weapons. Okay guys, before we really get started in today's training, I want to talk about a couple of things. Let's explore some of the knife myths, so to speak. The first one that I want to talk about is the grip. You still hear today, you used to hear it more back a few years ago, but today you still hear that if you don't fight in a reverse grip, if you don't hold your knife this way, then you really don't know how to fight with a knife. Well, that's just not true. In fact, the best grip with a bladed weapon or with a blunt weapon is a tight one, to make sure you don't lose that weapon in combat. But with that said, each grip, whether it be the standard or what they call the saber grip, the Filipino people call this the sock grip, and then they have the ice pick grip, or what they call the P.A.T.S grip. Both grips offer its advantages and disadvantages. In my personal opinion, I feel that the saber grip offers more advantages for a street confrontation. One of the main ones is reach. You have more reach, you have more thrusting ability, you have more slashing ability from this grip. And in a street confrontation, you really want to keep the guy away from you if you can. And we'll talk about that and show you some of that in a second once the training starts. Okay guys, today's training is going to be an intermediate level. We're not going to get into some of the advanced concepts. We're going to kind of keep this intermediate so that our students that are blue, red belt range, 2 years of training usually, can really pick up some single knife training skills. Okay, the first one we're going to talk about is just cutting the limbs coming in. I feel that this is the most valuable aspect of a blunt or edge weapons fight. We don't look at this so much as a weapon that's going to hurt us. We try to picture it as a target that we hit or cut. Okay? If you cut the muscles responsible for holding on or gripping the weapon, chances are he won't be able to hold on and grip it for very long. So, the angle 1 comes from here. I just want you to maintain your range, long range. I want you to clear this line, and I don't even want you to involve your other hand yet, although this hand is going to come into place very soon. I just want you to lean over and cut that limb that comes by. Always keep an eye on the attacker, always ready to get your next shots off if he starts launching counterattacks, which he will do. Okay, let's show a different angle from here. Okay, so the 1 comes, I just want you to cut that angle. The number 2 comes, I want you to cut that angle. So that's the first couple basic drills that we're going to do. So the number 1, I cut. The number 2, I cut that angle also. Always ready to run, always ready to maneuver, always ready to launch other shots if I need to. Okay guys, next what we're going to do, I'm going to get the first shot off, and then all I want you to do is thrust to the soft tissue area, which is the throat area. What I want you to do is when it comes in, is palm down, and I kind of want you just to spin the knife sort of in, almost like if I threw a jab and I torqued my hand at the end on the shot. Same type of motion with the blade. So once again, I want you to go 1, 2, and I just want you to keep your eyes on the attacker, ready to defend for other shots coming. Okay, let's try to show a different angle here. The number 1 comes in, I slash and I thrust that line. Now his other knife is going to thrust on the low line. I want you to pick that up and finger jab his throat. Now this defense can be with the blade, and in reality that probably would be all it would take. But for the sake of training and of training different attributes, I want you to kind of keep the flow, so to speak. So I go one, and I want you just to finger jab to the throat or eye area. From here, I want you grabbing his wrist tight, moving away from this next one, and that disarms the blade. Okay, we're going to show a different angle. From here, I cut, and I thrust that line. The low line comes, I parry and finger jab the throat. Grabbing the wrist, zoning, and that is the disarm. As I disarm, the blade goes into the person here. Now let me really break down this disarm for you. The knife comes, I grab tight. Now from here, I'm going to use the bone of my wrist. I don't want to use the muscle, and I never want to use the bottom of the hand, the vital areas. So I grab. Now when I peel this knife, it's two motions. The knife hand thrusts in. This hand pulls his grip away from his own handle, and I make the shot here. Now from here, I can go with my own cuts from here. I can go into other weapons also. Okay guys, I'm going to show this one again a little quicker speed. So it gives me the number one. I thrust, that's the shot, there's the disarm. Luckily, hopefully if I disarm, that weapon will fly into his own person. Okay, guys. Now we're going to move up to the. We're going to move on to the next. Is your face okay? Yes, sir. To the next shot. Okay, guys. The next one we're going to work on is number one comes. Maybe I missed this shot, or it just didn't do enough damage to make him drop, to force him to drop his weapon. So it's going to come back for the angle 2 slash. So the number one comes. I thrust. The angle 2 comes, and I want you to cut and press. I can thrust again from there. I'm going to do it again. 1, 2. This is the disarm. Hopefully that would go into his foot. By disarming this weapon, it monitors that hand. I pick up this one the same way. Okay guys, we're going to show you this same one from a different angle. So the number one comes, I cut, I press. This is the shot. Now, the disarm here. I grab the wrist tight as I can. Once you have it, you hold it like you love it, because you do. It's your best friend right now. If you let go, he's going to get other shots off, and you don't want to give this guy a chance to make this work. So from here, same principle. The bone touches the blade. Now, a lot of beginners have the habit of wanting to hit this weapon out of their hands. They do it with a stick also. You don't want to do that, because you're just going to cut yourself open. With the stick, you're going to hurt or break your wrist. From here, I always tell the students you want to act like your arm is a magnet, and you want to magnetize yourself to his blade. From there, you just press. Now the other knife comes low. There's the shot. This is the short circuit to the throat here, and I grab. If the punch comes, that's what the zone is for, and then I can get off my other shots, slashes from there. Okay guys, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you some of the very similar concepts that we just showed you, except now I'm going to have the reverse grip here, the P.A.T.S grip. Okay, so the first one, he gives me number one. Hopefully I can slash that hand immediately. Now when you slash with reverse grip, the knife goes out just like it would normally, and at the very end you want to sharply turn your wrist up. This kind of becomes almost like a hidden jab there almost. It adds juice to the shot. Okay, so the number one comes, I slash. That thrust comes low, I hook and thrust. The same disarm comes from here, and I just get off my subsequent shots from there. Okay, I'm going to do this one again a little slower before you try to break it down. The number one comes. There's my shot. Hopefully I can get that slash. Once again, now I'm trying to slash. It's always a good idea to train or to visualize yourself not just cutting, but you want to be hitting bone also. That's what a blade does. It doesn't just slash, it breaks. So when you hit the wrist bone or you hit the knuckles, all those are very, very good shots. Okay, so the number one comes. The thrust comes low, I can hook this hand here, or I can thrust the blade onto his wrist bone once again. Right now, just for training, I just want you to hook this hand. When I hook, I thrust the throat area. I'm grabbing. Now he may retract this wrist. When he does, I just follow it along that line. I can still get the disarms. I can still get the slashes. Okay, moving right along. The number 1 comes, I try to hit that. Once again, I may miss that shot. The number 2 comes. I can hook this hand as I hit the eye. I can also use the blade right away. Either one is okay. Just for teaching simplicity today, since this is only an intermediate tape, I want you just to try to hook this shot. When you do, there's the shot, and I hook and control his hand. I grab the wrist and press the knife right out of his hand. The low line comes, I follow it and treat it the same way we have been. Okay, same one, different angle. The number 1 comes, I cut that angle, or try to. I hook and hit, same time. This hooking motion is moving him off center line, where he's going to have to really work to get this thrust off. From here, I grab the wrist, disarming the knife into him. When I do, I try to punch the deltoid muscle. The low line comes, I thrust. This shot, or this shot, is what takes his mind off of this. You have to get in shots. You never work disarms by themselves. You always work putting in shots while you're disarming. Here, and then there's the disarm. Okay guys, we're going to end this like we do most of our weapons tapes, where we're going to train some of these out of flow. The intermediate flow that the students know here is what we call Hoobud. If you don't know Hoobud, go back and learn Hoobud. Right now we're going to do Hoobud with the variation of double knife against single knife. You don't see that often. We like to train it this way. So we work the Hoobud flow. Right now I have a standard grip. I am looking to work some of the motions that we've already worked earlier out of Hoobud. Okay, we're going to do, once again, this time I'm going to have the reverse grip, or the P.M.A.T.S grip. So we're going to work the Hoobud flow. Once again, this may be my hooking to my disarm. Okay guys, we hope you enjoyed this segment of On the Mat. Talking about the blade, the blade is very in-depth. The training is so in-depth, and we just showed you today a very, very fundamental, basic look at some of the drills and the skill sets that we want our intermediate students to have. We will be bringing you more videos with some of our more advanced training methods with the blade. But you know, it's good to always go back to the basics, because if you ever need this on the street, the basics is what's going to save your life. So until next time, Guru Billy Brown here, and I'll see you on the mat.